Everyone, it's Trevor here from Double Bill Movies. Happy New Year to you all. I hope you had a lovely Christmas and all that. And yeah, so my first official video or proper video of the year, 2023. So you may have noticed I actually over the Christmas period posted a lot of videos, but they were all for the same series. They're all for my virtual tour at Pinewood Studios. So if you want to take part, just make sure you watch episode 1 because it tells you what movies you need. So when you watch the videos, you won't see anything of Pinewood. You will only see me talking, just as sort of a heads up, if you're unsure how it's going to work. So yes, watch episode 1. I'll tell you, and there'll be also a list in the description of that video of what movies you need. I know some of you have been taking part of the tour, and so far I'm getting good feedback. I know some of you are about to take part in doing the tour when you have sort of the time. So I look forward to what you think of the tour, and you know, I'm not expecting too many comments on the videos because unless I say anything that's of interest and oh, I didn't know that, or that kind of thing, then or even if you're correcting me or something. So what have I got coming up this year? Well, as of near the end of 2022, Bumper and I we're about, well, a good way through the 39 series, which is our look at and our thoughts on the 39 video nasties that were successfully prosecuted. So hopefully sometime this week we should be carrying on with that, and that would be good to get going again. Also, I've been in sort of talks over WhatsApp with Dan from Dan's Man Cave about doing some kind of World War II related videos or live streams or something. And what else? Oh, I decided to do a bit of a slightly different double bill series. Obviously I've got the regular double bill episodes where I put an original and a remake together and just give you my thoughts on them, and sort of say which ones I think is best, or and I'm going to call it Japanese knockoffs. Now that's a play on words, because that is not having a go at Japan at all, because it's actually the Americans that have copied the Japanese movies. So you've got things like Seven Samurai, obviously you've got the Magnificent Seven, and you've got quite a good selection of top-notch horror films like The Grudge and Dark Water, and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've already watched the original Japanese Dark Water, and I have to say it's the first film in many years to give me a physical sort of unease, and I was kind of telling my wife afterwards how it had unsettled me, and that's good. That's a really good thing, because you know, horror films are meant to be unsettling and scary and all this, that and the other. So yeah, so keep an eye out for that. What else? I have yet to do a video in answering a question that I had on one of my How Physical Media is Made episodes. And if you're watching, sorry I forget your name at the moment. I am getting to it. The location I wanted to go to wasn't quite the location I thought it was. So I need to look into that. I want to do it at a location because all other episodes have been at a film location of some kind. And the question was a really good question. I've done my little bit of research into it, and I even learnt something from it, so that's good. So that's coming up at some point, and just various other things just as and when they pop in here, you know. But anyway, a lot of the reason for doing this video was set out by one film in particular, and I just received the soundtrack to it today on CD. And now I use a website called Discogs when I buy some CDs. And when I first put in a search for this soundtrack, I thought there'd be loads of copies and I'll be able to find it quite easily. I couldn't find it anywhere, and actually years have gone by, and occasionally not occasionally, but a listing popped up on Discogs, because I didn't even find it on Discogs to start with, and but there were none for sale. So I thought, well, okay, but then it turns out they were only promotional copies only, and I was thinking, well, hang on, did somehow this CD not sell? I know every single CD or album or any release is on Discogs, but anyway, I finally found a copy on Discogs, and I had to pay £40 for it, and it was for Deja Vu. This lovely Tony Scott film starring Denzel Washington, and if you can see closely, it says for promotional use only. Now this is actually a CDR, but it is what they call a professionally printed CDR, so it's not a bootleg or anything, and the inlay is just a single side cover, nothing on the back. But you might be able to see the CD is blue. It plays perfectly because I've just played it in my CD player, which my wife and I bought ourselves for Christmas. But there's the Blu-ray. So it stars obviously Denzel Washington. Val Kilmer is in it too. And then you have Paula Patton, Bruce Greenwood, Adam Goldberg, and Jimmy Caviezel. There's all sorts of amazing things going on in this movie if you haven't seen or heard of it before, and you're interested in checking it out. For starters, it's a Tony Scott film, so it's going to be good. Would you believe it, there is a single car chase in this film, and I call it single because there's only one vehicle involved. So if that intrigues you, then you better go and watch this. You do sort of need to turn your brain off and just sort of accept what's going on. There's some really cool special effects. The concept of what they have to do in this movie is just brilliant, and you could probably see something like that happening at some point in the future. Maybe not the full aspect of it, but basically it's about a ferry that gets blown up, and they have to investigate why. There's Paula Patton, she plays the lady in it that well, she's swept up on the banks of the river, and they also try and investigate why she was not with the rest of the people who were on the ferry. Is it a separate murder and that kind of thing? So there's a lot of intrigue, a lot of clever sort of, but not over the top. It's not too convoluted, it's not too clever. It is a relatively simple concept, but I thoroughly enjoyed this film. I did see it in the cinema, and bizarrely or not, I saw it with my colleagues from Testronic, and they obviously weren't bothered, but I sat there throughout the film thinking, this is in mono. This is in mono sound, so there's clearly something wrong with it, with the screen we were in. And anyway, so that kind of spoiled my cinema experience, but still I loved the movie. And then we got to do this disc at work anyway, so I got to see it numerous times at work. Now, usually you get this is one of those sort of the Disney silver sash kind of artwork ones, but obviously you can find it without that, because I don't like those silver sash things, and any film that's had that on, I've tried to find one without it, so it is out there if you don't like those. But now this is not a Disney film as such, but it is a touchstone, and it's very likely we will not see a 4K of this, because Touchstone unfortunately falls under the banner of Buena Vista Home Entertainment, which is Disney's distribution company. So anything under that, Miramax, Touchstone, there are some others, but they escape me at the moment. So yeah, obviously all your Disney films. Oh, who else? Yeah, I think there's a couple of, it's not just Miramax and Touchstone, but obviously, as you know, there's some great movies in there. You know, The Rock, Enemy of the State, Ladder 49, There Will Be Blood, and all that kind of thing. So, you know, if we keep on at this, getting 4Ks on physical media, and Disney decide that, well, actually they're selling, then, you know, maybe they will decide to bite the bullet and give us physical copies of these. This looks amazing anyway. So when I first put this on my home setup, I found it looked very orange, and I don't remember it looking very sort of orange in the cinema. Now, you've heard me mention TV settings before. This is just how important they are to set it correctly. When I finally realised my TV needed to be on movie mode, and with the colour settings and the balance and brightness set correctly using my setup disc, this doesn't look orange anymore. It's, you know, there is an orange tint to it, because that's the colour grading they've put on the movie, but it shouldn't be in your face, it should be subtle. And now this film looks stunning, and the soundtrack, I've been wanting this for a very, very long time. It's Harry Gregson Williams. He's a British composer. He's done many things like Chronicles of Narnia. He's done Man on Fire, which is also a Denzel Washington film. He did Kingdom of Heaven, Chicken Run, the Shrek movies, and all that kind of stuff. But in this soundtrack, it's not just orchestral score. There's lots of different styles of music, a bit of drum and bass and all sorts of electronic music and stuff in there, but it's blended together so well that I'm just blown away by it. And I sort of knew the movie enough that when I listen to the soundtrack, and I can kind of watch the film in my head while I'm listening to the music, it's, you know, I don't want to say any more about this. I want you to think, okay, so what's this single car chase? What's that all about? Who's he chasing? Because he is chasing someone. But you need to see the film to understand why. Yeah, it's just a brilliant Tony Scott film. It's a Jerry Bruckheimer production. So again, if you're into those, like I mentioned, The Rock and those kind of films, Black Hawk Down, then you're going to love this film. Looking on Discogs today, I did finally see a listing for the regular one, the one you would buy in the shop, that doesn't have promotional use only on it. But I don't mind. I did spend £40 on this, but to me it's worth it. There wasn't any for sale of the regular ones, so there still may never be any for sale. But anyway, there you go. That's my start to 2023 as a proper video. Kind of a double bill, the soundtrack and the movie. Anyway, so like I said, I hope you're all well. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and you know, follow me on this journey and see what we can get up to in 2023. So I'll say goodbye. Take it easy.